He never raised his voice, he never interrupted. He never fought to be the loudest person in the room. But when he walked in, people noticed, conversations would shift. Eyes would follow him, not out of fear, but out of a deep, quiet respect. In a workplace that was always buzzing with bold voices and strong opinions, he remained calm. While others were competing to be seen, he simply showed up, on time, every single time. And while they spoke just to be heard, he listened deeply as if every single word mattered. No one could quite explain it, at least not at first. He wasn't the boss or the designated expert or the loud, energetic motivator. But somehow, his presence carried more weight than 100 speeches. So how does someone lead, influence, and earn such profound respect, often without saying a word? This isn't just about being silent, it's about something much deeper: intention, stillness, and character. Once you understand the rare strength behind his quiet power, it just might change the way you walk through the world. Let's call this the quiet strength they didn't see coming. He came from humble roots. He didn't have a powerful family name or a polished degree from a top university. He was just a man with steady hands and quiet, observant eyes. When he first started his job, very few people even remembered his name. He wasn't particularly charming or bold. In meetings, he consistently listened more than he spoke. In group gatherings, he usually stood at the edge of the circle, never at the center. But the one thing you could count on was that he was always there. He was early, he was prepared, and he was calm. He didn't chase after credit for successes, but he was always the first to take responsibility when things went wrong. He fixed problems without ever being asked, and he helped his colleagues without any expectation of getting something in return. He chose to answer challenges with action instead of just noise. And slowly, people began to notice, not all at once, but in small moments. A minor task done perfectly, a tense situation handled with grace. Over time, they started relying on him. They began to trust him. Without even realizing it, they started turning to him first, not for his voice, but for his presence. He was like a great old tree in the middle of a storm, never the loudest thing you hear, but always standing firm. In a world that is so full of performers, he became respected for one simple reason: he was real. The moment that changed everything came on what seemed like a completely ordinary day, right up until the point that everything went wrong. A major client, one of the company's biggest, threatened to walk away. The tension in the office rose like a storm. Voices clashed, people started pointing fingers, and chaos filled the room. The ones who always spoke the most, the loudest voices, suddenly had no answers. No one wanted to be the one to make the difficult call, to take the next step, or to own the potential failure. That's when he moved. There was no big speech, no drama. Just quiet, steady, deliberate action. He calmly gathered all the facts. He picked up the phone and called the client, apologizing with genuine honesty. And he saved the account, not by using slick charm, but by simply showing up with integrity. For the very first time, it felt like everyone in that room truly saw him. His silence had never been a sign of weakness. It was focus, it was centeredness, it was strength. In cultures like Japan, there's a concept called shikata ganai, which means facing what must be faced without resistance or unnecessary noise. In Zen philosophy, it's known as mastering presence. And in modern psychology, it's considered emotional intelligence in its highest and purest form. He didn't change, the world around him did. In the quiet they had once overlooked, they now found someone worth following. Not because he spoke loudly, but because he lived loudly, without ever needing to make a sound. This idea of silent power can transform your life too. You don't need to be the loudest person in the room to be respected. In fact, your silence, when it's paired with presence, with meaningful action, and with integrity, can become your greatest strength. The next time you enter a room, remember this: your presence speaks long before your first word is ever spoken. So, choose steady, consistent actions over empty noise. Listen with real purpose, to understand, not just to reply. Lead without feeling the need to announce that you're the leader. In a world that gets louder and louder every day, your quiet confidence will stand out without you ever having to try. Now, I want to ask you, who is someone that you've always respected, not for what they said, but for how they lived their life? Share their name or their story in the comments below, and let's take a moment to honor the incredible strength of these silent leaders together. If this story moved you, please like this video and subscribe for more inspirational stories that can help you grow your English and your mindset. The world may not always hear your words, but it will always feel your presence. Thanks for watching.